fourth episode of Zooming In with Gen Z. I'm your host, Haley Taylor Schlitz. Thank you for being here, new viewers and old friends. Now, let's get into this. TikTok is starting a job site targeted to Gen Z. How exciting is this? Hear this quote from Forbes. TikTok is known for its fast-paced dance videos and funny clips. The social media company is planning a pilot program to build a job site on its platform to help people find jobs, particularly Gen Z young adults that love the site. The new job search and recruiting feature is in beta testing with a group of companies, according to Axios. The job search listings will be on a separate site, and many of the roles will be targeted for Gen Z job seekers. Instead of boring resumes, it's anticipated that the applicants will submit videos. This sounds like a fantastic idea and is a good example of meeting audiences and people where they are. If you're recruiting Gen Z for a job, you should be on TikTok. Possible downfalls of this, you ask? Your employer or future employer may review all of your posts. Think about that. You may want to think about what you're posting before you post it. I will keep you posted on when this site is out of beta and posting job opportunities. Dream job, Chief Fashion Officer. This next story is for all you fashion designers out there. Hear this quote from the New York Post. Utah-based women's clothing company Rolly is looking for a chief fashion officer via TikTok. This 6-month-long role starts in August and includes a $2,500 per month stipend, a monthly clothing allowance for the winner and her friends, an all-expense-paid trip with a guest anywhere in the world, their own branded clothing line, and an advocacy role with the company for the United Nations Girl Up campaign. A release from the company's CFO, Kylie Chaplin, directs applicants to submit TikTok videos showing their personal style and using the hashtag #RolllyCFO and Girls Rule with 2 O's. Now through May 30th, 2021. Wow, what an amazing opportunity. $2,500 per month and a clothing allowance? Seriously, if any of you are looking for a way to get your name out there in the fashion world, consider this. Tinder meets TikTok? Here we go with this one. Listen to this quote from Women's Health. Aware of the pitfalls of modern dating, a new dating app has emerged promising to do better by way of honesty and authenticity. Called Snack, the new app is a cross between TikTok and Tinder and has been designed with younger generations in mind. Given the popularity of TikTok, the app leads with video rather than static images. So instead of simply swiping, you can now post videos to a feed and have direct messages with the person when you like their post. Users can even use TikTok to log in and share their TikToks directly with others on the dating app. With so many thirst traps and pregnant women emojis on TikTok, this may be a good place to go if you're interested in a little more than the videos. Definitely keep this in mind when you really like somebody's TikTok. Snack is available on the App Store now and will be available on the Google App Store soon. Alrighty, it's time to meet a fellow Gen Zer that is already reaching, coaching, and helping you, Gen Z. I am very excited to welcome Episode 4's incredible Gen Zer to the Zoom room. Today we are going to talk with the Gen Zer who's building a pathway for greater diversity in architecture and design. Make sure you have your thinking caps on because this is going to be a great conversation. My guest is Gabriella White, founder of Archie. Hey, Gabriella, thank you for joining us on the 4th episode of Zooming In with Gen Z. Okay, thank you for being here. Okay, my first question for you. When people talk about STEM and STEAM, they usually think computer coding or biology. Your focus is architecture and design. Can you share with us what drove you to pursue this passion for architecture and design?
Well, if you really think about it, architecture and design is literally everywhere. Every building you go to, even your home, is because of architecture. And something you don't really think about until you do more research.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so true. I'm looking around the room right now. So you took this passion and you decided to do something about it. So that our viewers can have the full picture, would you mind sharing with us, what does Archie stand for?
Archie stands for architecture helping communities, reaching youth.
That is absolutely awesome. And to follow up with that question, what inspired you to start Archie? Was it a certain event that just kicked this inspiration and passion in you, or have you always wanted to do this since you were little?
It was definitely something that started off as a hobby and then turned into a passion and then turned into a dream. It first started when I went up to New York for winter break in winter 2018. I went to an architecture program, and that's where I really got to see everything about it, and I fell in love with it.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. What a great way to get exposed to different passions, different summer programs all over the country. So speaking of programs, what programs has Archie offered? Has COVID changed how you offered those programs?
Definitely. But before COVID, we used to do workshops where we get sponsored by companies like Microsoft or ThinkPad or anything else. Any other computer companies would basically volunteer computers for us to use for programs. But now we're into online sessions, and that will start soon, like around August and June.
Nice. You guys hear that? Keep your eyes and ears peeled for Archie's online opportunities. So definitely stay aware on that. Speaking of you guys, I know many viewers are thinking of building with Legos right now. Were toys like Legos part of creating this interest for you? And on top of that, has Lego reached out to you at all?
No, unfortunately. I would wish and I would love for Lego to reach out to me. But currently we've been just focusing on 3D and online modeling, so it gives you a lot more options than physical. It's always way funner to build with your own hands.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So your work has been noticed by many STEM organizations. I read that you have been awarded a number of honors and awards. Is there one award that you're most favorite or most proud of?
My one award definitely would be Gen Wow 2019 when I won the grant, because I've been previously before I won the grant, I've been going to Gen Wow. I was at Gen Wow for like 2 to 3 years. So now that I was like watching the show, now I was a part of it and I was one of the speakers there.
Wow, that's awesome. That's incredible. You guys hear that? Oh my gosh. Okay, I also read, speaking of reading up on you, that you were a featured workshop facilitator at CRC Foundation Youth Camp at Microsoft. I know you mentioned Microsoft earlier. How was that? And what was the Archie workshop that you hosted there?
Okay, it was like one of my first actually. You can see in the picture, if you look up the pictures, I'm pretty young, which is on my Instagram creator. But it was my really first like full-on workshop. It was really fun because it showed me that people were paying attention. Like people weren't just like, like a big company like Microsoft wanted to like put spotlight on me and my program.
Yeah, of course, you deserve the spotlight. What did you host there? What was the workshop or activity?
Oh, so basically, each kid got a computer, which was given by Microsoft, and we taught them how to use Scratch, which is a 3D program that a lot of beginning architectures use. Architect.
That is so cool. If you guys haven't heard of Scratch, you should definitely check it out. And if you're interested in learning Scratch, maybe keep your eyes on Archie. You said in your previous interviews that you're interested in interior design. And I saw that you were a speaker at the 2018 Black Interior Design Network conference as well. How was that experience, if you don't mind sharing?
It was really one of my best conferences. I met a lot of friends there, even though I was the only kid.
Mm-hmm.
I connected with a lot of adults, and everyone was like really shocked that I was so mature at the time. And I was like, I'm like, that's just how I am. Yeah, I do love interior design. It's a big part of architecture, because if you design the outside, then what happens to the inside? If it's just empty space, then what's the point of building the building?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I never thought about it like that, how hand in hand they actually are. So I also saw, on top of everything, that you got to speak with CEOs like Tiffany Brooks of HDTV and Casey Kelly, CEO of Blended Designs. How were those experiences?
Oh, so I met Tiffany Brooks at the Black Interior Design Conference.
Really?
And nice. I love her. She's so funny. And personally, me and my mom have been watching HTV for literally years before. We love home decor, home flipping, anything like that. And like one of the HTV like home contests was in our state. Like it was in our city actually, and we were so excited for it. So it's meeting someone who basically designed the houses that we grew up watching was really fun. And the fact she's like my friend now, like that's kind of funny to think about.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Hey, HGTV, get this amazing Gen Zer her own program. What in the world? That's amazing. So has it been hard finding diverse mentors in the area of architecture and interior design?
Sometimes it is because there's a lot of diverse people in some fields, but in my specific one, no. I looked high and low, and currently I only have about 2 to 3 right now.
Wow. Do you think that the people you've talked with understand why diversity in these areas are important?
Yes. Because they're like more experienced than me. I've been, even though I'm mature, I haven't been in the business that long.
Yeah.
And it's really always helpful to get advice from other people.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% understand that. Are there any mentors that we haven't discussed that you would like to give a shout out to?
Well, the other mentors we haven't discussed would be my family. Even though my family isn't in architecture, they are a whole bunch of inspiring women.
Yeah.
I love my grandma. My grandma is 60, 70. She won't tell me her age, so. But she's a fighter. She was in like a couple car accidents, and she like did physical therapy for months, and now she can walk again. Like, and she still goes to work every day, and she was like the first police detective in her town, the first female. So she's done a lot, and my mom's also really inspiring because the way she raised me.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, she raised you fantastically. What a family of, just a whole family of inspiration. Are you guys listening to this? I hope you're appreciating this as much as I am. What would you say, speaking of our viewers once again, what would you say to Gen Z members about why diversity in architecture and interior design is important? Why should we care about diversity in career fields like this?
Because the thing is, architecture and design is gonna, well, I don't know if it's gonna be around forever, but I feel like it's gonna be around for a long time. In this future that we like all imagine, dream of, who do you think designs it? Like, think about that.
Yeah.
And if there's no one who's doing it now who's diverse, then who's gonna do it in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so very valuable to have diversity in all the industries in our country. So I absolutely agree with you. And my last question for you, what advice do you have for Gen Zers who are interested in architecture or starting their own business?
My advice would be one, make sure your product is relatable, that everyone wants it. Like, not everyone, but make sure that it's actually useful. If you build something that's great for you, but it might not be great for everyone. And another thing, make sure to get investors. That's one thing I should have done. I should have got investors. But so I had to build up my own and finance it myself from the beginning. So it's a little bit harder that way. So get some people interested. Don't be afraid to speak out about it.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys hearing these pearls of wisdom?
Go market.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have to take notes, okay? Make it relatable and make sure that other people are interested and make sure that you get investors and support. Definitely take notes if you guys are interested in this field or starting your own business in general. So thank you, Gabriella, for taking time to be here with us today. I hope that you all are just as inspired as I am by her ambition. Yeah. Well, we can't wait to see what kind of future you build for yourself and communities across the world. Hopefully, you'll join us here again so we can have another fantastic discussion on the structure of architecture. Thanks for being here.
Of course. Thank you.
Wow. I hope you guys took notes. And like I had mentioned at the beginning, I hope you had your thinking caps on because that was a very fantastic conversation. As usual, we will close out our show with a segment called Zooming In. Let's take a look at who's being magnified for being magnificent. iCarly. We all know the show. We all probably watched way too many episodes at some point. Some of us probably even tried those tacos. I can remember being younger and watching iCarly. I loved the show, but was also aware that the cast lacked the diversity that made up the real world. So I was excited to see that with the reboot, the issue of diversity was being addressed. But just like so many other things right now, that same diverse cast with that most were celebrating has also been met with racist remarks online. Hear this quote from Teen Vogue. The cast of iCarly and Paramount Plus are speaking up about racist comments made online toward actor Lacey Mosley, who is set to play Harper in the series' reboot premiering June 17th. Over the weekend, Lacey took to social media to share that she'd been dealing with trolls calling her racist slurs in her comments. I am playing Harper on iCarly. I'm not replacing Sam, she said. I want to take this moment to do a special thanks to Paramount Plus for not only rebooting one of our favorite shows growing up, but for acknowledging what was missing last time. By casting a girl of color in a lead role, it demonstrated that Paramount Plus understands that a diverse cast is crucial to connect with Gen Z. What I especially like is that Paramount Plus did not back down and stood with Lacey denouncing the racist attacks. Paramount Plus, we see you and thank you. It is so important that we have diversity and representation in all industries in our country. Not only so little boys and girls of color can see people who look like them in the spaces they want to establish their own careers, but also so that those same boys and girls can feel represented, heard, and valued. Remember, Gen Z, we are the most diverse generation that our nation has ever seen. Our media should reflect the diversity of our generation and the values we say we uphold. What Lacey adds to the show is irreplaceable, wanted, needed, and celebrated. Thank you, Paramount Plus, for casting Lacey and recognizing the value a girl of color adds. And thank you to Paramount Plus and the entire iCarly team for publicly defending Lacey when she was under attack. Now, I have a Zoom call to action for you guys, as usual. As we always say, silence is support. Go to your platforms and share with your friends, family, and followers how happy we are to have iCarly being rebooted and how appreciative we are to have a girl of color in the show and how thankful we are to Paramount Plus. Well, that's it for episode 4 of Zooming In with Gen Z. Thanks so much for joining today. Like always, come back in 2 weeks for episode 5. Same time, same place. You know we will have some news worth your time and some Gen Zers with some spice. A shout out of thanks to Citizen Ed for providing us with this platform to talk about the issues we care about. See you guys in 2 weeks. All right, how do I zoom out on this thing?